Welcome to the Colony Pod. I messed up.
Just do it.
It's a good intro.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Colony Drop Podcast. I'm one of your many co-hosts, Goose, who brings the honk and the bonk and all the mess ups. We also got Mr. Sneaky Sama.
Hey.
No one cares because we got Rogue New Type.
Wow.
What's up? What up? What up?
And our final co-host. Some say he's a 5-foot gunpla. Some say he might be Steven Seagal's son. All I know is we got Talos.
Steven Seagal really couldn't think up of anything else taller, like Talos, like the mech that I'm actually named after. Damn,
you're
Goose.
right, Talos.
Damn.
I also like to introduce the gentleman that brought the four of us together, the one that is causing all this drama today, Mr. Adam Blue from Gundam Explained. How are you doing today, Adam?
Hey, doing good. This is a lot of fun because, yeah, it's funny with using movie analogies. It's like an MCU thing, you know, like all of us. It's like an Avengers.
It's a good day to be assembling.
Yeah, no, exactly.
All right. So, how's everybody doing this week? It's been a little bit since Goose was here. I don't know if anybody.
Boys?
It's good to see you, Goose. We missed you in the last episode. We were wondering if your reckoning was upon you or something like that. Hence, the title of the last episode was "The Reckoning of the Goose."
From what I heard, everybody thought that me and Rogue were the same person. I was just changing personalities from week to week since we haven't been on the same podcast since episode 1.
I know, right? Like, that was funny. Rogue, what are your thoughts on that? Can we finally put to rest the fact that you guys are two separate people?
I cannot confirm or deny at this point, but we'll find out eventually.
Yeah, there you go.
Doesn't
Okay.
have enough honker bonk in him.
I think, you know what? I think Rogue does have enough honk and bonk in him. He just, like, keeps it under wraps on purpose. He's not like you, Goose, who just kind of goes off the cuff.
way. That's right, the way down low.
Yeah. So, interestingly enough, I titled this episode Talk Gundam to Me. Because, we can't not talk about Gundam without having Gundam Explained here. He's got to explain the Gundam to us,
Oh. So, the way I explain Gundam is it's Star Wars, but more adult. Well,
Old Star Wars. Let's be honest about that.
You see.
That is a fair point. There's a lot of space stuff in there. I might even say Space Odyssey. I don't know what you guys think about that Space Odyssey kind of thing.
Yeah. I kind of like how it does sort of incorporate, like, especially in UC, the NASA punk, like as that stuff from 2001 and then getting into the 80s. Tomino really knew what to pull from, like, because Alien and Star Wars 2001, those things. So.
Yeah, interesting, right? So the other thing, though, I want to kind of point out here is I don't feel like you're a UC purist anymore.
Yeah, it's interesting because the reason, I got into Gundam is because of the UC stuff. That stuff is just really up my alley. And it would be hard to get into the other stuff because it's like, well, these are cool Gundam robots, but the story is nothing like what UC represents. But I've been able, because I'm into the designs, the mobile suits, I've been able, like with Seed, to overlook, like, especially that first season, the story's a little goofy. It takes me out of the grittiness. Also, the other thing, and this could just be my history with anime, the way that the characters are designed, especially their noses, I know I bring that up a lot, where that even takes me out. Where sometimes it's like, okay, I'm looking at like a caricature and not necessarily where, even if it's a cartoon, things can be drawn to give off that, like I think UC did with how they drew Bright, how they even drew like the side characters of the Xeon soldiers. Like, it's caricature, but not to the point of like extreme, like taking off a nose or making the eyes too big.
Right.
Yeah.
Hair color doesn't bother you?
No, hair color doesn't bother me. I think that's interesting because I feel like it helps differentiate a lot of times. Like, it really gives variety to all the different people you see. Because even if you go out, yeah, maybe a lot of people have darker hair, but there's all these shades of darker hair, like in reality, along with the blondes and redhead. But like, that's another thing with anime, yeah, having like blue hair or purple hair every once in a while. But I feel like it works.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I feel like the art style kind of is a thing for me more so than anything. Like, I don't really care about the noses per se, or maybe it's just because I've been watching anime for so long, right? But what bugs me is certain art styles. Like, it takes me out of it instantly. I can't. It's like, if it's drawn a certain way, I'm like, no, I just can't. Like, or animated a certain way, I guess I just can't. And a lot of animation, I don't know. I feel like because we're not doing like hand-drawn style really anymore, and everything is digital, a lot of animes tend to look very similar nowadays. I don't know what you guys think about that, but
Yeah,
I agree.
I want to piggyback off of what Adam was talking about. I think a lot of older anime, so you're talking about your MSG stuff from the late 70s going into the early 80s. You had a lot more definition with the facial structure.
Yeah.
Noses and stuff, like, it looks like more like real people. But when you get further into the late 80s into the 90s, you start seeing a little bit more hyper stylized animation. Then you go into the 2000s, you start missing features in the face. They just make it a little bit more simple. It's almost like a what do you call it, like a template.
And I
Instead
even
of-
think that happened in American animation. Like, if you took when Batman the animated series first came out, but the later ones, the later Batman adventures or whatever they called it, it seemed like there was less detail. I would even say another example is like the X-Men animated series and then future animated superhero shows. Like, they have nowhere near the amount of detail the X-Men animated did. So I wonder if there was that balance of, well, we can't be as detailed, but we can actually make the animation better. Because I think you tend to see that.
I think,
Out of curiosity.
real quick,
Go ahead,
just as far as the transition from Batman the animated series to the New Adventures of Batman, they supposedly changed the art style to match up more with Superman the animated series.
Which that had a simple.
Yeah, it was
simple
a very simple style. So I think
I bet it was budget friendly. I bet they're like, hey, it's better for us to do this. But I remember noticing that and being disappointed back when the new Batman show came out. I was like, it looks more okay. So this might be the other thing. It makes it seem less mature, less serious to take it. And I think that is like when I'm seeing a face of Amuro or Char, but then I see the face of Shiro or Kira. But you brought up a good point, Ian, about like, if you're used to it, and I think that's completely valid, because it's more of things you've gone through in my life that then I would judge something.
That's fair. Talos, Goose, rock, paper, scissors for who wants to speak up next.
I'll go ahead and jump in. I know we've had private conversations, pretty much all five of us, especially when we all first joined Adam's channel. And to get to my question real quick, Adam, how do you feel that you created technically this podcast? You're the one that brought all four of us together. Because I jumped in, I think, on your live podcast number 12. And Ian was just became a mod, and I liked your show so much I donated a bunch of my Gundam video games to you.
No, that's a really good point, because I feel like even like in high school and even out of high school, I would always have friends from different places, and then I would always try to get them to hang out, like all of us to hang out. And that's the cool thing about doing the Gundam Explained, because I had again, I did video game stuff before, never kind of created any sort of community or anything. I did not know what to expect out of this, and it is pretty cool because I get to have these deeper conversations about this hobby that I normally can't get anywhere else, and I think that's what attracts us to want to talk about this stuff, is because we are all at this kind of level, even if it's varied in terms of like what we know knowledge-wise, but we all I think we understand why we like this Gundam stuff. So then when we talk about it, no one from the outside can just join the conversation. You know what I mean? It's almost like its own language when we're talking Gundam stuff. And so it's cool to have this, and then find other people that know that stuff, like how like Rogue, how like when it comes to like a Federation GM, we almost feel like that is like the classic look, and even to the point to where we talk about the later GM high grades having that extra nozzle, where we go into that detail of like, oh well, we would prefer that nozzle not be there because we're used to the old. And I feel like that's a level of discussion you can't always get with people, but
Because most people look at it like it's the GM, the GM. They're like, well, not technically.
Yeah. I know. I love that stuff.
I was playing Code Fairy last night, and I just kind of I started playing it because it was on the PlayStation Plus. I think it's on premium tier or something like that. So I started playing it, and I was just, and maybe we could talk about it later on, but I was just kind of blown away by how much I was getting like Requiem for Vengeance vibes, or even like a Xeon style 08th MS Team vibe from it, you know?
Yeah, because you play from the perspective of the Xeon, and they kind of make you like the characters. They're a bunch of girls, and it has more of an innocence to it. So
yeah. So I think like in terms of like I could kind of look at it from a like how they design like the Zaku's and stuff like that the noisy fairies have to use for their story, you know. So I just thought that was interesting. But Goose, you were gonna say?
Do you feel like they're trying to push more Xeon stories now? Because I feel like they've done so many UC stories. Like I know, oh God, I can't think of the movie right now. I'm so disappointed in myself. Has the Gundam Alex in it?
War in the Pocket.
Yeah, War in the Pocket. I know that's technically you could look at that more of a Xeon story, but like I feel like they're trying to explore the other side more. I think they're realizing there's more stories over there now that they can go into.
Yeah, I
feel
think
like
after a while. Yeah, they tend to go back, like because we had MS Igloo, but then nothing before that for a while, and nothing after that for a while. Maybe a video game, and then Requiem for Vengeance and Noisy Fairy, like those two. So yeah, it seems like there's gaps, and then there'll be a bunch. But it is funny sometimes online where people complain about the Xeon perspective in multiple ways. About like, on one hand, about they wouldn't act like this because they're Xeon soldiers, and I'm like, well, we don't really know that. Who's fanatical that's a soldier, and who's just doing it because, So I feel like you can always get perspectives.
Back to real life military as well. I mean, not all soldiers are going to be zealots to the cause, you know.
And so that's why I think...
that always...
Sorry,
proceed.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that's always a very entertaining aspect of Gundam, where people don't realize that it's a story about the people, not just the war machine itself. When you look at the original Gundam series, we see both the Federation and the Xeon perspectives. Even though Amuro and the White Base are the main cast, I guess you could say, how many people fell in love with Rambaral in just a few episodes? How many people fell in love with Dozl? How many people fell in love with every minor character that you can think of? And those characters have somehow survived to the length of constantly seeing them as returning characters in one way or another. Johnny Raiden, Sin Masunaga, you name it. And when people say a Xeon soldier would not react that way, and we see the difference between Ana Delgado, Dozl Zabi, and Sin Masunaga as the three characters and Rambaral to add like the four major characters that you see often as their name being brought up. They are different people, and that's the whole point I think with Gundam. And seeing it from Xeonic perspective as well, it just reminds you that they are just people.
Yeah. It's right. So when I see something that says it's from a Xeonic perspective, I'm not automatically going, oh, this is going to be different. It's more of, okay, these are what these people are dealing with when we get to see the mechs. And
you're on this side of the war instead of the other side of the war. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you think that if people kind of like superhero movies in the sense of like, they look at it like Xeon is clearly the bad guy, right? Like they're the ones who started everything. It's their fault that this happened or whatever. So like when they look at it from like this black and white perspective, that it's almost like a superhero story of good versus evil, right? But then what Gundam really does well is it kind of gives you both perspectives, and it kind of gives you that opportunity to see that both sides of the war, they're humans too, you know? And so I feel like it's not as black and white as a lot of people tend to think it is, you know?
It's a really good point, because I think when we watch a story or listen to a story or whatever, read, we get a quick dopamine hit when it fits, like, oh, this is the good guy, this is the bad guy did this, oh, the good guy got it. But I think for Gundam fans, people like us, we've enjoyed that so much growing up, but that now we need it deeper. It's almost like when you do the drug too much and then like it wears off, and then you're like, okay, I need to up the dose. So we're wanting to get deeper in our narratives and our stories. And not only deeper, but also then how it correlates to the surface level, like the machines, the designs, to the story, the characterization, and everything.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
Mobile Suit battles. Mobile Suit battles are just the driving, just to help drive the narrative forward. It's just the background. It's about the characters. It's about their stories, and about that everything's not black and white. There's good people on both sides.
Yeah, there are good people on both sides. There are people who definitely are in the wrong, right? Like you can kind of, certain characters are definitely in the wrong, like your Shirakos if you're a Zeta fan, right? Like,
That's good.
Your zombies,
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
And Rogue's example is perfect, because people always talk about, but Zeon have the worst people with Giren, Zabi, Makuven, yada yada. If you pay attention to Gundam, may it be the original series or even the manga, right? Let's talk about We're Federation hooligans. Rogue and I absolutely love the concept of seeing a Zim team that deep into the war. And you hear that a large reason as to why the war was prolonged was literally because some Federation officials just want to prolong the war. Federation officials on Earth, because they did not see as much battle as the Federation forces in space that want to finish the war earlier. And you have people are like, Giren Zabi is clearly a horrible person, he killed his father. Makuve is clearly a horrible person, he cares only about himself. What about those Federation officers that want to prolong the war for their own pockets?
Yeah, and then even by the time we get to Char's counterattack, they're even willing to take money, from Neo Zeon. Not even I wonder with that if it's almost like they knew what was going to happen, but they knew it would just prolong the war. Because I almost feel like that's too stupid, but I feel like they knew something would happen.
It's interesting. I to touch on the deeper story part real quick, because there was something that came up in my mind. It's Adam, you and I, and even Goose have talked about this in some capacity, about like how Power Rangers went from this very kids show, right, and as we've grown up, we've wanted a more mature story from it, right? And they've given us hints of that in small bursts, right? Like I feel like the Disney shows were a little bit more mature than the original Saban stuff, but then they kind of went back when Saban bought back the product, right? And then when they sold it to Hasbro kind of continued what Saban was doing. So now that things are kind of changing again, do you feel like the story's going to just continue to stay the same with that more dumbed down kind of placating to children, or do you think it'll grow?
I know exactly what you're saying. I think the safe route for them is to make the stories dumb, and it's cheaper for them. It's like the bare minimum is them getting the kids. But that's the issue, because the original Power Rangers, it's not like it was made for kids, even in its original iteration. And a lot of times kids get into something because it has more of this adult thing going around with Power Rangers. It was awesome to see martial arts like that, because at that time I was into Jackie Chan. America didn't have awesome martial arts stuff. So then seeing Power Rangers coming, I'm like, damn, I'm getting some martial arts, and I guess what happened was, though, they didn't focus on that. They just focused on kind of the storyline of just, hey, something that kids can watch. Yeah. Even though it's like, well, it has to have fighting in there, kids like fighting, but it's more than that. It was this new experience that we got, and it's funny because I feel like I don't know if maybe martial arts is not as popular anymore, or it's just how in the West they have always utilized it. Like, you know, the Matrix. That's pretty cool. But they never went beyond that in American martial arts. Then they started doing the Bourne stuff where they would do a lot of quick cuts. So basically, I don't think here in the West when they make and this relates to Gundam directly. Like Gundam at the end of the day is about the mobile suits, but it's in a good story. I think Power Rangers at the end of the day is about the martial arts, but then they just make a kid story as the driving vehicle to see the martial arts. But you would have a higher ceiling. In fact, that Power Rangers movie that came out, I thought was good, but I think because it had always pushed to kids when the movie came out, people that are our age aren't thinking, oh, this must be really good. You know, do you guys see what I'm saying with that?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say I agree with what you said, except for the one thing where I know I'm gonna get backlash for this one. I know you said the mobile suits are like the focus of Gundam. I feel like it's the war or the fight.
Well,
to
sure,
have
but
the Gundams is more of the reason.
yeah, I mean, I guess it's more of the super robot genre, right? So the robot is the thing, and then how do you make robots work? Oh, there has to be a war. So
See, like the super robot.
The
Series, I
mecha is
would
the
say
medium.
They're the main look. Going back to your what you were saying, where Ian was making the comment where it was more of like a kid show. I feel like Gundam is now going through a phase where people are now being introduced to this more. It's like we're seeing it on Netflix. You know, we got a live action movie coming out. It's
Amazon's
starting to
getting
be,
the G-Quux Tuesday.
yeah, and we're getting a lot more coming out. Do you feel they should focus more on series or movies? And do you think they should be? I'm trying to like. Should they have fun with it? And I don't want to use G Gundam because that's more of a super robot, but like, I feel like some of the Gundam stories that really go long start getting some funny aspects into it. Like, oh, we got to add a little bit of comedy into it. Or do you feel like they should do it like 12 episodes, super serious, like Stardust Memory?
You know, I think they could get away with what they've always been doing. I feel like Bandai has done a good job of like introducing something new, but they've always been able to have the stuff for the older fans. What I think they need to do is just do a better job of marketing it to the West. And I think being on Amazon's a good way to go. But I think it reminds me of what WB did with Batman vs Superman, that whole Zack Snyder thing, where like they had this idea and they're like, okay, Zack Snyder, start. And then as soon as Batman vs Superman didn't do good, they're like, okay, we got to redo everything. Like, I feel like sometimes you have to trust the process and just push and keep going. Just like when the original Gundam aired, no one really liked it, but you know, the toys did a good job. So like, okay, well then let's make the 3-movie trilogy and just keep pushing it, because I guess, and then it picks up, you know. And yeah, I think that's kind of what they need to do in the West. I feel like a lot of times they give up on the marketing, or they do the very least of marketing that they need to do in the West. And yeah, if they just keep doing what they're doing production-wise, like if I compare Disney Star Wars and Bandai Gundam respects their property. And so it's like, just market it better. Whereas Disney is marketing the hell out of their stuff instead of making the story good. So
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
That's
Do you feel like I know going back to shows and stuff, I'm gonna change gears slightly. Like the video games, the last couple of games that have come out have felt more, I don't want to say childish, but
I know what you're getting at.
they seem more marketed for a younger crowd. I understand we all enjoy them. Like Gundam Breaker was one that I was very excited for because of the building and the diorama stuff. But I still feel like when I play that one, I feel like Gundam Breaker 3 feels more adult than Gundam Breaker 4.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they are not looking at, like, I know you and I are older than everybody in this chat today, but do you feel like they're marketing more for the younger crowd more so than trying to take care of like the loyal fans that have been in there since we were like kids?
No, that's a good observation. What I think they're doing is spending as little as possible on video games. because in the late 90s and early 2000s, when it wasn't Bandai Namco, when it was just Bandai, those games were what you're speaking of, Goose, where they weren't like too simple, and especially like Zionic Front being really hard. And then it seems like they've moved away from that, where you see PlayStation, Xbox, Capcom make prestige games of their IP. Look at how good Resident Evil, the latest ones, have been, for instance, And it's like, okay, why isn't Bandai doing that with Gundam? Isn't Gundam like the biggest property in Japan? It's like you would think they would have this high-end game because gaming makes more money than movies and TVs. So it's like, this is the perfect opportunity to kind of go back to what you were setting up in that Sony era or PlayStation 2 era. Make these prestige titles where, one, it would be the simulator that we're wanting. Sure, it might not be all fully sim, but to make it feel like you're in the cockpit of a mobile suit. That might be for a certain audience. We can see where hard games like Dark Souls end up finding audiences. As long as it's really focused on sharp gameplay, even people will play the hard games. But I would give another example too in the video games, like the versus games, how they're really popular, but I don't think it's because it's Gundam. It's sure, Gundam might be the gateway, but it's just a really unique style fighting game that doesn't exist. So people like that.
Like a beat 'em up with the Gundam skin slapped on it. Is that kind of what you're getting at there?
Yeah, like a fighting game, because it's more of that fighting game style. But see, what you brought up,
arcade fighter,
yeah, this is what Bandai needs to do. They need to make multiple Gundam games in different genres, and sure, those could be the low-budget ones, but then they always need to have their prestige title. Sure, do the
They need
Gundam...
to have a flagship.
What's that?
Yeah.
They need to have a flagship.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like they do have a flagship. I would say it's the G Genesis series.
Well, so, but think of it in terms of Sony coming out with The Last of Us, Capcom coming out with Resident Evil 9. Bandai for Gundam doesn't have anything like that. And they should, because even Star Wars, even though it's been a little iffy, they have the Jedi Fallen Order games. Outlaws, I thought, was excellent, but I think people got tired of Star Wars by that time because of Disney, where they were just kind of like, that stuff is annoying now. Yeah, they need that flagship.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they had already a really good formula once upon a time with Senki, and I'd say that if you look at the Code Fairy as the final result of GBO2, that is again a really good formula that unfortunately the marketing for Code Fairy was non-existent.
Yeah, and I was told it sold so bad on PlayStation that when they ported GBO2 to Steam, they didn't even bother with Code Fairy, which is interesting.
I think it's because they lacked the marketing. I think they were like, we have a loyal fan base with GBO2, they will buy it. But not everyone that plays GBO2 probably plays GBO2 because it's Gundam, but it might be because, it's a multiplayer free-to-play game. Unfortunate, but it's true.
Yeah.
Especially with the problems that GBO2 does have, and that comes from someone that loves GBO2. But if they made the GBO2 Plus or a GBO2 Next or a GBO3, where it focused on looking after the players,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say 3 because a lot of people will be mad over losing all of their mobile suits, me included. I mean, what?
I mean, but that's the essence of gacha too, right? Like, the gambling aspect of things. I would say like
that. Yeah, that's why I said that they focus on the player base,
right.
not focus on the gacha. Make it like a paid game that is on par to like Call of Duty in terms of quality. When I say Call of Duty, I'm talking like Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, or World at War.
Battlefront 2. Once EA fixed Star Wars Battlefront 2, because I loved how you would pick a map. Like, let's say you pick Axis, and then you're either dropped into Federation or Neo Zeon. Mm-hmm. I like that. And then, but the suit then that and then there's classes like multiple Jagans that you can choose. But then when you're out of the game, you can actually modify that specific Jagan. Like, okay, this is a heavy Jagan, but this is what I would have on it and what I would do. Just like I love that Star Wars did that. And then just have it where there's big scale battles, and then you would pick another map. And then, but it's not like you're just one character all the time. It's more of, depending on the skirmish or the battle that was going on, you select from one of the suits. Almost like the situation battles. The difference is there's persistence to your suit.
Yeah.
Almost like you're collecting the ones that would be used in the different wars and upgrading them. That would be awesome.
And it's very unfortunate to say that, Gundam has the formulas, no pun intended with the F91 release. It has the formulas, it has the blueprints to make great games. Senki, obviously GBO because, it's my favorite. We're looking at the likes of Versus, if you want to talk about that, side stories, something that people don't really talk about. Target Insight or Crossfire, depending on which part of the world you're from. They had great games that were either stuck in their position because of the limitations of the era. I'm talking about Target Insight and Crossfire running at less than 20 FPS times. Or it was made purely in Japanese, aka Senki, or Side Story. And they are incredible games. Even you talked about it, Adam, the Unicorn game on the PS3.
Oh yeah.
Those were exceptional games.
And that's what's interesting. It's like, I feel like Bandai's still trying to figure out what to do with the video games. But I think the common denominator here we've seen from the beginning is they're never porting, whether that's localization or other platforms. It's almost like when they come out with a game, it's very limited into how you can access it. And they need to, and it's so funny because wasn't it a few years ago when they announced the Next 100, part of it was every video game moving forward would be on every platform. And then I think just because economics and the changes, they then backed off because even the isn't that Seed game coming out soon only
Seed Battle Destiny?
Yeah, is it only
Is it the end of
Switch
the
and
month?
PC?
I think so.
Because
I think so.
Yeah, where it's not on PlayStation.
It's on Switch. I know that, and I think Steam, and I think that's
Yeah.
it.
Which is interesting, and I mean, it's funny they got SD Gundam Battle Alliance on Xbox, because they were, but then not Gundam Breaker 4. So there's all these just little things where they don't have really set rules on how they want to position their Gundam games, and then they're never consistent. And that just, for the audience, they're like, oh, here's this random obscure Japanese gun thing I always see. I won't play that.
I think that's a lot like the problem I think Japan has, and obviously we love their products, right? Otherwise we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation right now. But the problem is that they are very closed off, or at least they used to be. They're a lot more open than they used to be, but they are still very closed off, very protective of their IP. I think that is something that I've noticed with Dragon Ball, because there's things about Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball has a similar problem to Gundam, and I think it's a Bandai thing as a whole, where they're just not marketing things. I think they're relying more on word of mouth, like the Gundam Explains, the Midnight Hatters, the New Type Seijis, you pick the influencer / YouTuber / streamer, Gunpla Sisters or something like that. You have it. There's your word of mouth, right? Like that should be enough, right? But in reality, it's really not. And I think they're forgetting about that. They're trying to rely more on the third-party people to promote these things, and it's not enough. That's my opinion.
It's just a paid intern that just needs to do his job.
No,
or
an
his
unpaid
or their
intern.
job.
Unpaid. Like they're not not even getting paid. Like
Yeah, I know.
True.
So, any final thoughts here before we kind of move on to the next thing, gentlemen?
Real quick, I wanted to ask Adam this, and we can all answer this real quick. I didn't mean to change the topic so hardcore.
No.
Back to talking about movies and TV shows. Look, I kind of want to exclude movies because I feel like they have a bigger budget and they can make things look a lot prettier. But back to TV shows, I feel like Stardust Memory was the last TV series that had was very crisp. If you guys know what I mean.
Yeah,
I feel like the others have all been kind of they look good. They just don't have that right feel to them. I'm not gonna say the mech designs are bad. I feel like Seed really went hardcore on the 3D look, and they were just like, oh, we can pump these out a lot quicker now, and this is the way we're gonna go.
So that's a good point. And so let's make this a question then. What is the best looking Gundam animation And part of this might be preference, and I would almost say, yeah, Stardust Memory, only because that was peak of that time, you know, like the stuff you see from Eva, that type of animation. Whereas, sure, it looks good in Unicorn, but there's a lot of stuff that's like CGI or it's too clean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
The color palette is different too. They use a lot of darker color palettes in that time period
That's
to make it seem more realistic. The uniforms and
Gritty.
the machinery. Yeah.
I still hold. I mean, I know we're all agreeing with Stardust Memory, but I still feel like the clip when they're taking out the full burning for the first time when they're on the moon base and he's launching it. That is like peak animation right there.
That is.
Like it's
the startup for the GPO one, Fulgurnian. Yeah, goes pretty.
If anybody looks it up, look it up with the Top Gun theme song playing behind it. It fits very, very well is all I gotta say.
And I wonder how much that is of us being at the age of that time where of all the cartoons we'd see on TV, we'd see the little clips of a Japanese anime and be like, whoa. And it doesn't seem like we ever get that anymore, but I think it's because we are recognizing like the hand-drawn versus as we kind of evolved with technology, then we see, oh, this is computers. Not that we're trying to take it away, but it's just so fun and interesting to see. And I think Evangelion does this a lot, that kind of hand-drawn, like, where things get crunched, or there's a lot of wrinkles, and I love that detail. Yeah.
On that note, though, I'd actually argue... Oh, sorry, proceed.
Oh, I was saying a lot of shadowing and the older enemy. Yeah.
That's a good...
But I will argue with the Goose, and I know that Thunderbolt is not a very famous series by many people, but if you want to talk about the last good-looking Gundam drawn series, it has to be Thunderbolt hands down. Because the Thunderbolt, if you haven't seen it, does keep and retain that style from the 80s and 90s, that drawn animation. It doesn't have that 3D, and it looks crisp. I will always remember... Sorry, proceed?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, finish, and then I wanted to bring up a caveat to Thunderbolt animation.
I will always remember the scene where the Atlas lands on the Pegasus class with the sunlight behind it. Absolute beauty.
No, you're right about this, but one thing that stands out to me, and it's actually not too bad, is a lot of times they use CGI shading for some things. Like if it's like some like light illumination or something, you could tell it's kind of like a CGI layer, which again, not bad, but I think it's one of those things where I recognize that. And I'm like, oh, that's newer stuff, not the older stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you brought that up, Talos, because to be honest, yeah, Thunderbolt is actually incredible to watch.
What I liked about it too was also it brought back a lot of the more visceral mobile suit combat from W83, MS Team, things like that.
Yeah, the music
It's
too. And
brutal.
I'm not talking about the jazz specifically, but there's that kind of weird techno music, or I forget, electronic music when they're in space, and then you see the Psychozaku. Yeah.
It is called distorted jazz and distorted blues, so that's literally all that it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
It's literally jazz and blues, just messed up where it sounds like it's meant to make you uneasy.
I like that. Yeah, it really does add atmosphere, the way they do all that.
Yeah. Goose, looks like you want to say something.
I was gonna kind of rebuttal to Talos, but I looked up the scene and I know what he's saying. The only rebuttal I'd have to what he said is I do know the back to let's talk about Gundam Atlas. I believe that scene was drawn. I know the original full armor Gundam was drawn, but I feel like what takes it out of a lot of the scenes is that they'll draw the characters in the mobile suits, but like the background CGI. Granted, I know they try to match it as well as they can to the drawing style, but if you really kind of pay attention to some things, they kind of try to be like, oh, let's spruce it up a little bit. Where, granted, you know, I'm gonna sound like an old fogey, there's just something really nice when everything is just hand drawn it's just
I agree.
Yeah, and I think we're used
up
to it.
tier animation.
I agree.
I will put Thunderbolt up on that list, up there with Stardust Memory on its good animation. But I don't know. I guess I'm more of a purist. I'd rather see things somebody do 12 episodes of all hand drawn. You know, it took us a year and a half to do this, but here's like top tier story. If they would just drop Nina, that story would have been perfect.
I can argue with you there, though, Goose, on some part on the Stardust Memory as well, though.
But
a lot of the shots in space are canvas drawn, meaning that it's a single shot of a canvas and they just pan over it, which is a smart way of doing it without adding more to the drawing.
Yeah.
But still, that in that way, though, it can subtract from the background as well. If we would talk about background. I can nitpick too. I can be an old man too.
At the end of the day, everybody has their own preference. And, you know, some people are going to be like, you know, I'd rather have the 3D style and have a new Gundam series every 6 months. You know, I like the Netflix show that was all done 3D. You know, granted, some of the hands looked a little weird, but
and the mouths.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. But you know, at the end of the day, that series that looked good. I wouldn't put it tier, but you know,
I think for the nostalgia factor of it, like it succeeded. I would say that. I think if we had to say, you know, in terms of animation, it could have definitely been better. But I think the mechs were done, the mobile suits were done like they were supposed to be done. They looked like they were supposed to. So I can get over like the people not looking as good as the mobile suits, you know.
Well, I was gonna say, you know, we all know one of my favorite series is Gundam Wing, and you look at that series and how it was drawn, and there's a couple episodes that look a little half-assed.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
And those also at least made up for it.
There's some scenes
There's
that
like
look really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes that look good, but like overall for the whole series, I would say Stardust Memory is like the one that like every episode is fairly like.
Yeah, so do you think it was... That's a good point, because I noticed when I've been watching more anime lately, there's the episodes and scenes that are really good, then there's episodes and scenes that are like, yeah, they obviously didn't put a lot of money into this on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I hate that. It's jarring. But sometimes it's like, well, if this allows me to get a better animation for this fight scene, okay.
Right. I think that has to do with how long the series is going to run. So you're talking about Stardust, It's MS Team, same time period as Gundam Wing. Well, Stardust is further earlier than that, 1990, 91 or whatever.
No, I get what you're saying.
They only had what 12, 13 episodes. Same thing with It's MS Team, 12 episodes. They could put more money into a smaller series, which is why every episode looks great. But then what's Gundam Wing like? What 48 or 49 episodes? 50 episodes?
46.
It's gonna be or something like that.
Somewhere around
there.
Like Victory has no shading, for instance.
Yeah,
it
you know,
looks
so
good, but no shading.
Gundam Wing and G Gundam have the same issues. They don't have a lot of shading. They don't have a lot of detail in a lot of episodes.
But you jump into Endless Waltz, which is a few years later after that, and it's like half. You know, it's not a 12-episode series. It's actually a 4-part OVA that they turned into a movie, right? And you can see where they poured a lot more shading, they poured a lot more detail. There's a lot of things, like if you sit there and you kind of like watch it a few times, right? Because you're not going to notice everything the first time, but you can see the details a lot more present in those shows in those types of things where they have a lot more opportunity to pour that budget versus that 45, 48, 50 episode run, you know? So
agreed. On that exact note as well, like you can see the same with like Unicorn's OVA versus the anime rerun. While the anime rerun is meant to be a remaster, if you watch the scenes where, for an example, when the Unicorn first transformed and rushed down Dextria, the animation quality for the Unicorn plummeted, although it's 3 years after the original release.
Interesting.
So the OVA, you're saying, has the better animation?
Yes. While it lacks the fidelity and the resolution, it has the better animation and the better detailing.
Interesting. Okay, I don't think I've watched it like that, so I'll have to check it out.
I watched both of them, and at one point I was like, wait, something is not right here. So I put them both side by side, and I'm like, oh, that makes me sad.
Perhaps a movie night type of thing.
Oh.
Mm.
But anyway.
Ian, I cut you off a minute ago. What did you want to talk about?
No, I was just gonna say, like, you know, maybe we can kind of transition into kind of talking about, you know, showcase stuff, like talking about things we've been doing in the last couple weeks since we kind of got, since our last recording, maybe since the last time you joined us. I thought you were in, like, the pot getting cooked or something like that, but here you are, so, you know.
He was in the oven.
Oh, yeah, he was in the oven. That's a good point. So, any last... Sorry, go ahead, Goose.
I was gonna say, since I'm being put on Front Street, I'll go ahead and make all my excuses. A few of you guys know what's going on in this channel. I know the audience doesn't really know. I got a new kid. She was newborn when we first started. I've just been trying to parent a little bit more. Schedules have not been lining up. I've had to work a little bit more. So I've been trying to be a little bit more family oriented, and I know the podcast can't see, but the guys can see because we can all see each other right now. My house, I have been trying to work and get a lot of projects done, and I've had friends and family coming out and help me, and I've been remodeling our house to expand and make it bigger. So I have neglected a lot of my Gundam duties lately, and I apologize for that, but I am... The wife is making me spend more time on hobbies and getting things done and trying to be here for this, so I will hopefully be back on normal schedule so you guys can hear all the honking and bonking at Ian. So
Expense.
yeah, and on top of that, I gotta start building kits again. I've got one I've been working on for 6 months, and I've only got a head, a torso, and a leg. So
That's better.
Meanwhile,
than
I'm
nothing.
here
I
to
really need
make
to finish that one up.
you gotta catch up, Goose. I'm here making at least one every 2 weeks.
Sitting right
Oh
here.
my god.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
I've been on a roll lately. I don't know what happened.
You've been killing it. I've been seeing your stuff, and like you're just killing it right now. So let's segue into that a little bit.
Cool.
And let's talk about what we've been doing. So let's have Talos kind of go first, since he only has one, and then we'll talk about, because there is something I want to talk about that Goose brought up towards the end, just so that way we can kind of like use that as our transition out, if you will. So we'll save Goose's thing for last, because I do think that's a good topic based on the stuff that we got to go over today. So let's start off with Talos. Mr. Talos, please talk about your build here.
I built the F91 Master Grade version 2. I'd say it was an excellent build. It didn't really cause me much the problems. The biggest problems I had were the small parts, but the kit itself is very firm, holds itself really well. It has a very unique holding gimmick for the weapons, and I really like, for example, the beam bazooka. If you notice, the handle, the grip for it is even on a joint, so it allows you to just move it without really worrying. You can pose it a lot more dynamically than the Master Grade Nuveraka, which is, both of them are right beside me, but obviously the F91 is tiny in comparison. It's about as big as a high grade. The high grade Xi is actually bigger than it, which is hilarious, by the way. All in all, though, the only problem that I had with it is that one of the V-fins keeps coming off. I might glue it eventually. But other than that, nothing falls off. This thing is sturdy. It ain't going anywhere.
That's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, it was one of my, probably my third or fourth Gunpla kit I built, and that set the bar, for me. I think it's a good kit.
I was gonna ask you, Adam, does because I saw somebody else in like your Discord had posted, I think the 1.0 version. Talos, you said this is the 2.0?
Yep, this is the 2.0.
Okay. I mistook it for the Robot Spirits full spec version initially.
You're right. So the one they posted is the 2.0, and the thing is, they are very similar. I used to have the full spec robot spirits, and while it's a little smaller, it's like the plastic is the same. So under light, they shine exactly the same. It's funny. I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually the same mold, and then they just fitted one to make a kit. But it's interesting because then the robot spirits version, because it's like it almost feels like a model kit, just that doesn't fall apart. It doesn't seem as premium. So the robot spirits version is not that great, actually. The kit, better.
Yeah, I feel like the full spec or the Crossbone X1 that they did is kind of plastic quality is very similar to that too. That's probably the only downside I have to that one. But Talos, you were gonna say, I'm sorry.
I love also the fact that this thing has a lot of gimmicks that you would expect on something equal to Robot Spirits, from what I can tell. The fact that it has a lot of moving parts. So, like, for an example, for the Beam Sabers, I haven't done it here. I should have probably done more poses, but I didn't really want to, because Avalon took pictures, my better half, and they are incredible. I didn't want to have Avalon just constantly running back and forth with me just equipping the beam shield, or having it where it's pretty much revealing the beam saber rack, or where it's ejecting the beam shield from the other hip. It's got a lot going on. I was baffled. I'm like, what?
LED chest unit.
Yeah, the LED chest, and you can.
I forget.
It's the backpack and torso. It glows through the torso.
Yeah.
I don't have the LED, unfortunately. But it also comes with the option to make two heads. The one head is the one that doesn't transform for the full face open. And this one that I have is the heat radiator that opens up. I just never opened it up because I was like, I can't be bothered. So the fact that it even has the gimmick that it opens up the face like it would during the activation of the MIP system. Oh, I am in love with this kit.
It's good.
I was gonna say, does it do the goatee thing? Thank you for answering my question.
It does. It does.
I call it a goatee. It literally, when the faceplate opens up, it looks like the dude is like part of a motorcycle club or something like that. Like the suit's part of a motorcycle club, and it has a goatee. Like, come on, brother, let's do this. Let's ride.
And
For me, the first
in
thought
ca-
was sort of Japanese mask. Like that was my like
a Kabuto, fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Same thought here. It was interesting.
A Kabuto helm with a mask. That sounds about right. Yeah. I will also say it's very flexible.
Okay. So it can
Just
do a
you mean
lot
like-
of good posing.
Yeah.
articulation.
So-
casual.
If I were to give it anything, it'd be 9 out of 10, and that's only the 1 point retracted is because of how much I stressed over the V-fin. Just keep falling off at random intervals.
I would
That's
just
it.
glue it sooner rather
Uh,
than
that-
later.
That's what I'm aiming to do eventually. I just need to get plastic glue because I don't want to get like the silicone glue that we have and burn the plastic.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, this is it looks great, Talos. I love how you've been kind of getting more into building recently, and you were just kind of blowing through these kits. Like it's awesome. Glad to see you getting into the building aspect a little bit more.
I'm gonna be painting this. I haven't done any panel lining or anything, by the way. Just so it's well separated on its own.
The color separation does look good, and I like the backdrop that you and Avalon used to kind of take the pictures. It's like F91ception here, you know?
Yeah, it's the GBA2 banner, and I thought it was perfect because it came out as I was making the F91, so
It's very
I
fitting.
couldn't be happier. Yeah.
Very, very fitting. What do you guys think, Mr. Rogue, Mr. Goose? You've been awfully quiet. Thoughts?
Oh, it looked great. I love it. I mean, I like I said, I'm not really like Talos knows. A lot of you guys know I'm not the biggest late UC fan. I'm more on the kind of like the side of Midnight Hatter, our friend. That late UC is fan fiction. Um,
I'm gonna agree with
But,
that
no, I
statement.
love-
Go ahead, bro.
I like the main suits from the later use. Like I like Frost. I like F91. I like F90 because Talos showed me a lot of stuff from F90. They're awesome designs. I like F91. I like the main suit. I like Crossbone. not so much into like the like victory stuff, but I do enjoy the design of this suit. It's really really cool.
Yeah, I think it looks amazing. Goose, you're up.
I think the kit's very clean. I think Talos's building skills have gotten really well.
Oh yeah.
I know he has a lot of fun building those. He's given me tips. I've given him tips, and I mean it's the same with Adam. When Adam started building, the only bad thing I could ever say to Adam was that he would never clean up the nubs, and I was like, "Go get a glass sander." That was a game changer for me. And he texted me after his next kit, and he's like, "Way cleaner build." He's like, "Thanks for the invite." But no, I hate to agree with Rogue. I
Hate to
think the
agree
kit
with
looks
Rogue.
great. Huh?
I said you hate to agree with him on it.
I don't like the like, it looks clean. It's just not a kit that like I'm like, ooh, I gotta go buy that. And I know that's gonna be a topic here in a minute, but if somebody were to give it to me, yeah, I'd build it. I'd probably enjoy it and I'd display it, but it's not.
Don't
on
lie,
my
it'd be the
list to
last
get.
kit you would build, right? Like if you had your whole
Yeah,
backlog, that'd
it's-
be the last kit.
Yeah. Well, when we get up to our last topic here in a minute, I might do something on the podcast and do a first for all of us. So
I'm curious now.
something
'cause
you've
I
been
don't-
wanting me to do for a while.
Ooh. Let's not delabor then. Let's talk about my stuff real quick. We're just gonna let that cycle for a minute, and then I'm gonna get. I'll have Adam go next afterwards, if that's okay, Adam.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna turn off Talos' stuff here. Turn mine on. So I didn't really do any kit building. I mean, I did build something. I built the Cavalier thing from Seed. It's because I'm still waiting on my Zagok to come in from to the store I ordered it from, which I'm a little disappointed everybody else seems to be getting it first. But on the last episode, I was in the process of obtaining my Proud Defender for Metal Robot Spirits. And then I went and I did something else. I got the Zeus silhouette, so Talos is always a part of me. Since he's in Greece, I'm channeling the Greece energy there. With the Zeus silhouette, and matched it up with my Destiny Spec 2, which I also got. You'll see in here that I put the real type color Metal Robot Spirits, Freedom and Justice together. I got the Freedom a while ago, and I got the Justice back in late December, early January, and I finally was able to kind of get them both together under one roof, so to speak, and all of that. I also, you'll see in the pictures that are cycling, like I have the Archangel hanger cycling through here in some shots because I thought that was kind of cool to kind of recreate some launching poses or getting ready to launch poses, super detailed thing. But yeah, I don't know. I'll leave the next thought that I have for Goose's particular topic, and then the last thing also I forgot, you'll see it cycling through. It's one picture. I got 21 inches of Venom. If for those who are familiar with the meme of the Venom statue from the Spider-Man 2 PS5 collector's edition, that was like 19 inches of Venom, Adam?
Yeah,
Do you?
it was something like that. Yeah, like
Yeah.
18 maybe.
Yeah, 18 inches, 19 inches of Venom. Well, I got 21 inches of Venom, so that thing is freaking huge, and man, it is glorious to look at. I mean, these figures are glorious and a sight to behold. I'm very pleased with them. The only thing that I'm concerned with, and I'm curious to see what Adam's thoughts are, is like the cost, how much they actually cost and stuff like that. So, and then just working on my posing. I mean, I feel like my posing is leveled up, so I wanted to kind of get your guys' feedback, and community, feel free to jump in on this. But what do you guys think, like, of this stuff?
That looks good. Obviously, I'm a big fan of this Freedom Robot Spirit stuff coming out, and yeah, I'm totally loving it. That Zeus silhouette, now I gotta get it. I love the the poses with the Mighty Strike where you kind of have them up and he's kind of like doing some melee pose. Yeah, this is this is making me want to spend money.
The Mighty Strike Freedom is also the one that caught me. That pose is excellent, just so dynamic. Makes you think, what did it slash in half? I want to see it.
Yeah, what just happened?
What I miss?
Yes, Goose.
Ian, I want to give you props on a lot of your photos. I know you take pride in posing, and I was gonna say I like the fact that a lot of these new kits, they're focusing more on what you can do with them pose wise, along with like the detail and stuff. Like they're really stepping up their gunpla game. But a lot of the poses you've done have been, and the photos you've taken have been real. Like you've sent me, I know you're not posting them all, but you've sent me some personal photos, and they've been like almost like anime spot on.
Oh, thanks, man.
So,
That's a compliment. I really do appreciate that. I gotta say,
I like a lot of the builds.
yeah. I mean, I gotta say, you'll see there's a picture that just cycled through. It was the rail gun that comes with the Cavalier, and each of the Metal Robot Spirits also comes with one of those rail guns. Adam, what do you think about the railgun, like from the kit version? And then I don't know if you've had a chance to really look at the Robot Spirits version in comparison with it, but let me.
Yeah, I actually have it right here. Obviously, if this is the right gun we're talking about.
Yep, that one. Yep.
Yeah, the Robot Spirits one is obviously better, but I almost feel like you can't tell. Just the difference would be the Robot Spirits version has a certain finish on it. The color, this is color correcting sticker, so it's cool that that's an option. Because the Mighty Strike, actually, I don't think the Mighty Strike high grade actually comes with this. It's in the option parts set that actually is what the Cavalier Aphrid.
Yeah.
Adam,
it's
forgive me for asking on this one. Are you still painting?
Yeah, I don't do the airbrushing, but I will, like, for instance, I've been, working on, and we'll get to mine here in a second, but I've been working on the Cavalier Aphrid, and I've been painting
Nice.
it. But, I have a picture that will.
Yeah, let me actually start getting that up. But I gotta say, I was a little disappointed with the rail gun for the model kit and that sticker. That sticker in particular it's annoying. I don't like it at all.
Better to paint. But then
yeah.
you would want it to be a color separated piece, really.
Yeah, I think they should have done that. I don't know why they didn't do it. It seems like, especially with the stickers, and I wanted to ask your opinion for the Cavalier in particular. Did they use the similar stickers to what they've used like on the Perfect Grade or even on the Master Grade Extreme?
Oh yeah, for the front, those front stickers that are, that's the type that they use that are like very sturdy.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Your stuff is like...
So that's what thing is. This is a very quality Gunpla release, the Cavalier Aphrid.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, there's an example. So they have the missile. I guess it's going to be cycling through.
Yeah, I'll stop
But-
it in just a second.
Oh, it's okay. But like they have the missile pod thing that's pretty fun. The launcher, and it has the doors you open. But obviously they're not painted. So very simple thing I did where I just put the ink, the panel line ink around the outside, and then just painted red on top. I didn't bother masking or anything, and due to the size and it looks perfectly fine there. It's very simple, so it's not like I'm an expert or I did anything amazing. I think anyone could make the missile pods look awesome just by doing a little. Let's look at some other stuff. So yeah, I got the Zagok as well, so I have that plugged in. That was a fun build. Oh, Spider-Man peg. So this is not necessarily Gundam, but real quick, Mafex wrist pegs. Ian, have you heard of those being an issue?
In the past, they used to be a big issue. So
Okay, because mine broke off super easily. But then I found on Amazon for $15 a thing of joints, ball joints. So I bought it from Hobby Genki. I reached out to them. We'll see what happens, but at least there's a.
it does not
Anyway.
want you stuck on that.
Adam, I think that you like the Mighty Strike Freedom.
Yes, so that's what's funny about this. So, yeah, it happened where I got the SD Master Grade, and I was like, you know what? I really like the design of the Strike Freedom, not just the Strike. So then I obviously wanted to get the robot spirits. I love the gold, and then I got the Chigokin, and then I got the special edition from the limited edition Blu-ray in Japan that's clear, the high grade. I got the SD standard, and then right here, it was funny. Ian messaged me. He's like, "Hey, they're releasing the Converge Mighty Strike," and then I was like, "I think I'm getting mine soon," and then it came that day, and I might. But the thing, so for me, the Mighty Strike Freedom is UC Gundam, but to the extreme limit.
It's the super robot, you see.
Yeah, it's where as far as I will go, where I still feel like I'm looking at an F-18. You know, like that. Like, it's not too fantastical, and you know, the other thing too about Freedom, and maybe they were doing this on purpose, is then when the Zagok shows up, I'm like, what? You know, you gotta, and it has, not only does it have a flight backpack, which I love, but then you have the Cavalier, so it has a mobile armor. Like, it's doing all the UC stuff I like to the extreme. So it's almost like I'm dabbling into like how do I explain it? It's like when I want to have the cheese pizza of the gourmet Gundam, you know, where it's gonna be good no matter what. Yeah, it's not the healthiest thing for you, but yeah, I don't know.
This is an expensive hobby, right? Like, especially all the stuff they're doing with the Freedom. I mean, the Seed's mascot, if we want to have a mascot, yeah, you might recognize the Strike or something like that, but the Freedom is definitely their flagship mobile suit for that series, I would say.
And one thing I want to add is about the pricing. I have just been so lucky, and you know, this is something that you taught me about, Ian, but going to websites like AmiAmi and other places, even if something has a domestic release, you might even still get it cheaper just importing it from Japan, even with the shipping costs. Yeah. It's pretty crazy sometimes how that works. Like, getting this the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, the Mafex, one that broke. I'm using blue tack to hold the hand in.
That's so disappointing.
I bought it from Hobby Genki, and they're located in Japan, and it was cheaper than if I was to pre-order it from Entertainment Earth or something.
It sucks that Mafex is still having that issue to a degree with their pegs. I thought they had gotten around it. I just actually got the Spider-Man 2099 figure. I haven't opened it yet.
Well, I have their other release that was real popular, the comic version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have had no issue with that, and I've messed around with that more than I have the Toby. This is the first Mafex peg to break on me.
Yeah, I mean, but that's interesting.
It is thin. It is actually really thin and small.
And it's expensive, if I recall correctly. That figure itself was... I actually had it on pre-order, and I canceled my pre-order for it.
Yeah, it's like 80 or 90, I forget. But on Amazon, it's like $10 or $15. You can get additional pegs made for Mafex.
That's really cool.
Even though I still did reach out to support, because I bought it properly, even though I imported it. You know, we'll just see what they say.
I'll be curious to see what they say, too.
That's why I'm very glad with the recent Bandai releases, especially since Bandai is finally touching on another properties of theirs. Like, finally Mazinger is getting a load of, and Mazin Kaiser is getting a lot of high grades. Super Robot Wars are getting a lot of high grades, and they look all exceptional. Yeah. And thankfully they're getting away from some of the pegs that have issues, especially because Mazinger has a more humane look to its physique. And same with Mazin Kaiser. So I'm just really looking forward to eventually getting my hands on at least one kit and building, just to see how it will hold up. Because some older kits I know had a lot of peg issues, especially around the knees and the wrists.
Rogue, Goose, thoughts?
Not really on the kits. I mean, I think all Adam's kits have... from when we've all became friends, I feel like Adam's the one that's probably grown the most. Granted, I know he's doing it for his
nothing
YouTube channel, but
it could seem that way. Because that's the thing, though. It seems like a lot of things that I'm doing that it looks so awesome. I realize, wow, it didn't really necessarily require a whole lot. It's just trying.
I will say this, Adam. I gave Adam a kid of mine, one of my backlogs, to give him some content, and it was the Yak Doga. And after I saw his video, I was like, I should not have given him that kit, and I ended up buying it back again. Back in
No,
my
hey,
backlog.
I've learned so much by building kits that I normally wouldn't. So I actually do appreciate that. Like the Zagok I would never have built. But because it was in seed and had the backpack and the mobile
so
armor, I'm like,
cool.
okay, that's actually pretty cool. And not to mention the Justice inside.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have you a new
That
kit.
is cool.
I've actually bought the same one for Ian as well.
Oh.
I know I
which
brought
one
it up on
is.
stream one day, but I ended up buying 3 of those little forklift kits.
Forklifts.
I've got them in my garage actually, and I've been meaning to mail it out to you because it was just a weird kit, and I was like, I want Adam to talk about this just to be like,
Dude, I totally would.
"You
Do you know
sent
what
me something
scale it is?
goofy." Huh?
Do you know what scale it is?
Isn't it like 172?
Yeah, I think it's like 172 or.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
not
it was like a
scale with
weird. It was a weird size to me when I got it.
I'll have to see if I have a figure that might go with it.
Yeah, I think that would be your 3 3/4 inch figures. I think would go great for something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I
might do
think
that.
I could be wrong.
I'll give it a shot. That'd be fun.
Goose just wants everybody to be forklift certified. That's our
Yeah.
meme thing for G3G. So, Rogue, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I love everything I see here. You know, well, from the images we see here. I mean, I'm not the biggest Seed fan, or at all, but I do appreciate, especially the Zagok from the new movie, because I've never seen the new movie, but I just think that's such a really cool kit. When I remember seeing the images of it when it came out, I was like, that's such a great idea what they did with that Zagok.
Yeah.
One of
That's really
us.
cool.
Come to the dark side. We have cookies.
But anyway, well, yeah, it looks great. I mean, all of Adam's stuff always looks good. I mean, you're Adam, your posing and your pictures have always been improving. So I'm always glad to see your work all the time. So
Thank you.
I also want to put this out here with Adam. I love when you take the photos and you add like the space backgrounds or it's shooting a beam out
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something like that.
Okay, I'm glad you
That
said
is-
that because I haven't been doing that in a while, and even just before this started, I was planning out how I can start doing that again. Because I have access to a TV that I can start using more. So good to hear that. That actually reaffirms it.
I used to love seeing those pictures, especially when you would send it to us in Discord and we would see it before you would post it and stuff. And you're like, "What do you guys think of this?" Is it? We're like, "That's awesome."
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that more.
Yeah, definitely. I love those backgrounds. I need to start doing that too again. I think that's also why I brought my Archangel hanger down, so I could kind of start doing more of those environmental kind of shots again. I like doing
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Well, actually,
yeah,
for Patreon people, I do have a link to the PSD for Photoshop that has all those assets for the background explosions and lasers.
ooh,
Check
that's
out
cool.
Adam's Patreon for Gundam Explained. All right. Any last thoughts on this before we move on to Rogue?
Now I want to see Rogue stuff.
Well, Rogue, do you have anything that you wanna talk about?
The only thing I had was the one I showed here last time, which was that Rosen Knight from 30 Minute Fantasy.
Oh, that one was
And that
cool though.
was
I
like that.
did not expect
Yeah.
you to build that.
Was that a fun series to build?
It was really cool. It's a lot of fun. Like I explained in last episode,
Yeah.
I can see where Bandai is going with this, trying it out, testing the waters on there's so many directions they could go with this sort of figure line, because you could probably, they have 30-minute sisters we talked about. You could probably switch the heads out and have like a human looking character if you wanted to. So what else is stopping them from completely going to Dark Souls? Doing a whole, they're already doing what's the other one? The video game franchise.
Wait, Elden Ring?
Bloodborne?
Armored Core.
Oh,
Core.
No,
Oh,
Armored Core.
Okay.
Yeah, Armored Core.
Yeah.
So why not, eventually do Dark Souls? When they get into that.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I know.
They have add-on kits for those for the 30-minute fantasy, because these are supposed to be like mecha, like night robots, but the add-ons have like bonfires with like torches and stuff, so you can recreate scenes from Dark Souls or whatever. It's really funny. Like they're kind of giving the hints, but
Really?
it's like not
So-
there yet. Yeah.
Okay, I figure you would pick up on that if that's the case. So that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see
looking
what
back
more of
to
those.
that,
Go ahead.
looking back to that though, probably is how they were able to do some of the newer mecha high grades, as I said, back to Mazinger and Mazin Kaiser. Probably those fantasy kits might have been just also test runs to see how more super robot-y kits will also look, because Armored Core has a much more real robot design in comparison to other mechas. So that's my belief as well. So maybe they're just testing the water for a lot more than just the Bloodborne, Dark Souls, or anything of the sorts. Probably they're revisiting a lot of the older series. Like, for an example, with the new Super Robot Wars that's coming out, we're seeing a lot of older series that haven't seen an animated series in a decade even be brought back.
Yeah. They're bringing a lot of stuff back more now. Like, nostalgia is so heavy with people these days that they just bring anything back. It feels like, third-party companies too. Like they're dipping into that a little bit more now too. I feel like. Adam, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it seems like it cycles maybe where companies are like, okay, what can we dip into now? And I wonder also too if they can target like, okay, right now, the age of people that can buy this stuff, they would have liked the, I bet there's a lot of that going on.
I agree.
Out of curiosity, Adam.
Yeah.
How do you feel about these companies that are taking, like I'll use the GPO2 for starters, like the Solomon kit,
Oh,
and they're just making it a more detailed.
like a third
But
party
there's-
kit that's unofficial?
Yeah, and then there's a, God, I can't think of the other one, but they've got like the new, I think it's called like the Black Trojan Horse. It's basically like a Gundam Godzilla mixture.
Yeah.
And then there's a new Barbados kit that somebody else made that is more beast looking. Like, how do you feel about like kits like that, like where people are redesigning it and putting them out? Are you cool with those, or?
Yeah. In fact, I think Bandai should be facilitating this. They should be getting with other artists and manufacturers and be like, hey, we can license you to make other variants. You see that all the time with American companies like Hasbro and Mattel. Super 7 is a company that does Hasbro and Playmates stuff for Hasbro and Playmates, and it's like a different target. So it's like Bandai could save money reaching to a different audience by licensing that stuff, and it's cool to see these interpretations. So
I
I'm
know
all
they-
for that.
yeah.
I would love if they can somehow make it official.
Somebody
you're
made
not.
a Hazel.
Oh, sorry, percent.
What's up?
There's a
Oh, no.
redone Hazel by a company. They took Hazel and like made
Wow.
it like it makes me want to go get one.
I'll have to look it up.
No, you can't tell me that. You can't tell me
It's not
that.
called the Hazel. I'll have to find it and send you a link to it. It's called
Please do.
something else completely. But when you look at it and look at the Hazel, you're like, ooh, somebody added more guns to that and made that look a lot prettier.
Well, then there's that Talos
Uh,
third-party kit too. Talos.
Yeah,
That's an upcoming subject here in a second.
but to close off, like speaking of different, we have that, by the way. We said Hasbro earlier. Bandai has done this with the high grade and the real grade new. The high grade is the Zubutsu variant, and the real grade is the Katoki, but they don't have the name of Katoki or Zubutsu versions in them. And yet, if you look at the high grade and the high new real grade, one is Zubutsu, the other is Katoki. Why don't we see more of that? Even if it is high grade versus real grade.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So good. I think that's a good segue. Rogue, did you have anything you want to add before we segue into Goose's kind of topic here?
Yeah, we're ready. Let's go.
All right, so
All right.
Goose, take it away.
So Ian and I were having this discussion the other day about kits that and this goes back to what Talos' kit, you know. I like the kit. I don't want to spend the money on that one. Is there kits that you guys are like, oh, I've got to have that, I don't care to spend a ton of money on it? Or are you still like, nah, I'm not going to get that because it's just not my cup of tea? Or like, what's something that you're like, I've got to have it, no ifs, ands, or buts, and it's like a ridiculously priced? Because one of the kits on here, I think it's number 9. It's the GPO3 Dimborian. I actually bought that years ago. I know of only one other person, and that's Steven, Mr. Midnight Hatter himself. And him and I are both too scared to build this kit. And I know it's just a high-grade kit, but when the box came in, it's such a, like, so many part runners. It's not funny.
It's like 2 boxes, I think, too.
Yeah, it's one big box, and when you open it up, it's box A and box B. And this is a kit that I had to have, but I'm too scared to build it.
You know what?
I keep forgetting that kit exists. I always forget that that's a thing.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Steven got his for $400. He found it one day and was like, "Got to grab it. I'll never find it for this price again." I spent like $680 on mine.
Wow, it's actually $460 on Amazon right now.
Oh yeah, well, back in the day, it was a little bit more expensive. I think they just came out with the.
Probably did a reprint.
They did a reprint, I think, recently on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About a year and a half ago.
I bought mine like.
Yeah, they didn't reprint it.
18 or 19 because it was right before COVID.
Yeah. You probably had the original run.
Yeah, that's what mine
It's
is.
still expensive. Yeah.
You know what? That would be mine. You know, I feel like I'm at the point where there's not anything that's super expensive that I want to get and buy, but that would be it. The Dendrobium.
Well, wait till you get to number 1. I think 1 would be like.
Okay.
So
it's kind of like.
Let's really quickly go through the list just to kind of say, okay, this is what the article says that are the top 10 rarest kits or whatever, and then we'll kind of break it down into what we would want, you know, like the holy grail of sorts for us, that money is no object.
Oh boy.
Kind of thing. So the high resolution Wing Zero, you know what? I think after having seen like the reviews for this thing, and you guys know I'm a Wing Zero stan. I love my Wing Zero, but I cannot see this being something that I would buy just because of the fact that it falls apart so easily. That's just me. The Dendrobium, we've already been talking about that, so I'm gonna kind of skip on to the next one if you guys are cool with that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
The gold frame Stray, I don't really have any attachment to this, but what do you guys think?
I would grab it mostly because the Amatsu frame is absolutely gorgeous. The Pixar is not doing it any
Favors?
justice. Not it's just a gorgeous design. You look at him, you're like, Okami. That means great goddess or great god.
I can see that.
It's cool. I love the Astrays. Like, there's so many Astrays, and that's another Seed Universe thing too, Adam.
Yeah. No, I like the gold on it. Specifically.
Also, correction, because I know that I upset a few people. It's Okami, but I just, the joke is that I lose my marbles to seeing it.
It's all right.
I think you'll lose your marbles with this one. The 160.
Here's the answer to that.
Go ahead.
I will cut you off early. The perfect grade 00 unfortunately has a lot of joint issues. I actually would avoid it.
Oh,
okay.
Okay, didn't see that take.
As someone who built the 7 swords, if this was the same with the Exia, all for it. But the 00, unfortunately, if it were to have it just to have it, yeah, but I probably would not build it.
I like the designs. I actually like the story of 00 more than I like the designs.
Yeah.
I don't. That's just one of those series where I'm just like, I have no interest in building it.
Yeah, but it's cool to watch.
I think
This
Adam
is
wants
where I'm
this
getting into it now. I want this kit.
It's all right.
one. It's all right.
I don't normally get Taku stuff.
Yeah,
I don't have it.
Same.
I think the metal
$700.
look on it looks so good.
Yeah.
I know you can paint it metallic, but I think that's a really cool.
Rogue, is this a pass for you too?
I mean, it looks cool. I wouldn't buy it. I'm not. I mean, if I had to get a PG, I've seen PGs that are out. I would get a Mark II.
Yeah.
Mark II, probably the original Gundam, and definitely the Phoenix.
Well, good thing the Phoenix is next.
I was gonna say, oh god, there's the Holy Grail. One of them, at least.
Yep.
I'm surprised though that Rogue is into this. So is this your Mighty Strike Freedom?
What?
You know, like how because it's not traditional UC Gundam, you know.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, it being a perfect grade, or because
No, just design wise.
Unicorn. Oh, design wise, because I think of all the I'm not as big a Unicorn fan as, especially like Talos is a huge Unicorn fan. I like the Phoenix. That's my favorite Unicorn.
That's cool.
Not because gold, I just kind of just like the design of it with the gold and the blue and what the story behind it. I
Yeah,
enjoy it more than
true.
the other.
Everything about it makes it cool. Yeah.
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 It's so much though. Ugh, it's so good looking.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see if the upgrade for we might not. Okay, so they don't have the one that actually probably is more expensive than it, which is really bizarre. Before the perfect grade full armor unicorn perfectibility divine is currently one of the most expensive perfect grades that are out there, and I'm surprised that it's not on here.
Don't spoil the list yet. Let's keep going. 'Cause number one really blew my mind. This one I could pass
on this. This one is an easy pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Oh,
Totally
the metal
not
structure.
that.
This isn't even a kit though, so the metal structure
Yeah.
though, like, I
Yeah,
appreciate it
it's
for
like
what
high
it
end.
is. Yeah, it is a very high end
Oh.
collectible.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
If I had the money, yeah, sure, but no way that I'd put down a down payment for a house.
I
Well,
couldn't.
it's kind of crazy to think the PC I bought in 2023 was more than that.
Oh yeah.
You know, kind of crazy.
The PC I bought in 2022 was cheaper than it.
Wow.
I can get new tires
it's
for my
still high
vehicle
end.
cheaper than that.
Let's
Oh.
look at the Zazabi. That
And the
that's,
metal
that's
structure.
cool.
The
Yeah.
the metal structures though are just unfair.
Yeah.
But you know,
What? Okay. Really? Like two gold?
No, I want to
RX-72?
add. I want to add
This one's the
to this.
PG.
Is it real gold?
No,
It's
No.
gold plated.
it's injection gold plastic. I would say, just like the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Like,
because if it was gold, it would be a lot more expensive.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
bet.
way, and it wouldn't.
Why
think
is
they
it
made-
that expensive in the first place?
They only made a few of those, if I'm not mistaken. They didn't make a whole lot of them.
That's
I think
probably
that's why
why.
it's
I
so
mean,
sought
to me, it
after.
looks like a trophy. Like a trophy. I mean, I don't.
Just
You
can't you
know,
just
I
buy
don't
it,
understand it.
one and then spray
know?
paint it gold?
Yeah.
You
You
could.
could.
Just dip it in
Theoretically,
gold paint and call it a day.
There you
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I don't understand the appeal of it, but to me, it looks like a trophy. I mean,
Yeah.
other than
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. So, Goose, we were having that conversation just to kind of orient people, right? About pricing. And I was even telling the guys, I think yesterday or even Friday, like, I am glad, like, for example, I'm glad that I have the Proud Defender. I'm glad that I have the Strike Freedom Type 2, the Justice, the Destiny, and all of that. But the price that I paid for the Proud Defender set, and Adam, I'm sure I think you might agree with me on this. I think what's in the box is not worth what you get versus what I got with the Zeus silhouette. I think for the price, because I paid a very similar price for the Zeus silhouette, I think was much more comparable and worth the plastic that's in the box.
I think they were purposely, with the Proud Defender, purposely up pricing it because they knew people would buy it, and it's in line with the more reasonably priced Zeus silhouette, but it's the same price. You know what I mean? So it's almost like I feel like for those option parts, they kind of wanted to like, we'll set them all at this price or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, Adam, for you, when you build a kit, you display pretty much all of them, correct?
Well, not as of recently. I'll like if I build one, I display it for a little bit, but then I've started deciding what I need to pack up and keep out. So I cycle through things. I'm more deliberate about that, where like after a month I might go like, okay, let me take some stuff down and put some stuff up. And I found a new thing. I'm gonna make a video about it, but I just bought this foam from Amazon and it fits perfectly in a certain box. It's like all the standard sizes, and I've been able to put my kits in the foam. You pull out the foam, I put the kits in and stack them. I have to do that because I have so many kits. It's like I want to display them all. I don't have the room. So I'm trying to do this thing where I'm cycling. Right now, it's a big seed freedom thing. So I'm going to have a shelf for, yeah, right now it has a bunch of Mighty Strikes, but I want to have one that has a lot of the seed freedom. I have the Infinite Justice Type 2 to finish. This one, I have, Luna Mario Hawk. So I have a lot of little things that I want to display. But no room. Ugh.
It sucks, right?
Yeah.
Collector's
Same here.
worst nightmare space.
Yeah.
Same here, man.
Sometime there will be some sort of quantum element where we can have them take up the same place, so we can like move all of our.
Yes.
But it's some future.
And just
Pocket
press a
dimension.
button.
Yeah.
And press a button to switch to the next one.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
That would be
Adam, I
cool.
know you, out of all of us, probably have a harder time on getting kits, and I'm gonna let me rephrase this. Are you getting kits? Like, I know you've gotten kits to keep up with what's coming out and like what's going on in the Gundam like universe overall. Like, when Witch of Mercury was out, you were getting a lot of the Ariel and some other kits, and we got the new Gundam Seed movie and
Vengeance.
G-Quacks and all that.
No,
I know you've been working on
Yeah.
that stuff. Is there kits that you'd rather build that are not
No, that's a really good
like
question.
older ones, or is
In
it just like
No, I feel like I've built everything I wanted. Like there's the Toad Shredder, which I still need to build, but I haven't been like. I feel like what I'm lucky about. Well, for instance, a lot of the seed stuff I've been covering has been later, because initially I didn't really care too much. So I do. There's a balance of me. Something might be new, but I want to also like it. And there's the balance. Like Witch from Mercury, I didn't like most of the kits, so I only did the Ariel and then the first kit that came out before the Ariel. It was like purple and it had like the weird ears and it came with an orb.
Yeah.
I
know
forget
which one
the
you're
name of that, but and then I built the Ariel, but then I didn't get any others, even though like I have this little guy here from Witch from Mercury. But there's a combination of I have to like it, but I won't build something if I really don't want to.
So I'm gonna throw this out to everybody right now. I know I'm getting back into building. I've mainly been I know everybody's gonna make fun of me on this one a little bit, but I've been such a high grade boy. I just love to build them. You can put the kit together real quick, have fun with it. I've done 2 real grades. I've got master grades. I've got Sharzaku 2, Wing. I've got another one. I can't think of it. The Alex.
Good kid.
Like I said, I haven't built the master grades yet. Oh, and I got the Tall Geese the other day. I forgot about that one.
Picture it's not real.
I'm not gonna walk away. So it's in there somewhere.
Post it on your Instagram.
Yeah, I will. I think everybody here has built the master grade Gundam, or not the master grade, the perfect grade one that came out, the Unleashed.
Nope.
No.
I have.
Nope.
I haven't
Yeah,
built it.
well, Adam,
Okay.
that's
No,
your
I
that's your
don't
bread and
feel
butter
bad.
right there. You get an exception.
I've yet to build.
I've only built.
I've yet to build a goose, and I'm really, really, really tempted to build the master grade. Ian knows that I'm really tempted to buy the monument repair type,
Oh.
and I've got it in my cart right now on my phone, and I'm about to buy it, would that count as like? I guess that's considered a perfect grade. It's a 160 scale.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Even if it's third party, like
yeah.
I'm really tempted to buy that, and I was gonna, was more of the question of the group: should I pull the trigger and actually finally build my first big expensive kit, or should I just hit backlog? Or
no, I think so because that is different and unique. You might find something from that you're not getting with the other kits.
Yep.
And to share it with us too, because not many of us know about it. So once you build it and share it with
Yeah.
us, it'll be pretty interesting.
I think you'd be one of the few to actually post about it. Nobody that I follow has been talking about it, outside of like groups, groups on Facebook or something like that. But I'd say it's worth it.
Yep.
If it's worth it to you and it reignites your quote unquote desire to build kits, then why not?
And it will fill the quota for me to start building the perfect grade unicorn. At least, because I told you, build a big kit, and I'm building the unicorn perfect grade.
I'm not doing that, but good luck, Talos. So, I guess
we got to motivate our goose.
Go ahead, Talos. Sorry.
No, I said we got to motivate our goose. That's all I said.
Yes, we got to motivate.
Motivate.
Goose.
Yeah, good. Yep.
I need him honking about this ASAP. So, I guess to kind of go back to the original question, is there a price limit that you kind of like draw a hard line for, kind of like the metal structure where we know that it's super expensive? It's something I would want if I had like so much space for it. That thing takes up so much more space than my 21 inches of Venom does,
Yeah.
But it would be something cool, but if I had unlimited funds, that would be where I would buy it. What about you guys? Is there like a limit that you would say?
I'd say, unlimited funds is one thing, but even if I did, it depends what it is.
Mhm.
My ceiling for something I would really want would probably be 600 range. I couldn't see spending more than that, even on something I really want.
Your Maganok core?
Yeah, you already know. I have two white whales, so it's that one, the 36 piece set HG of the Magonaut Corpse. So that retailed for 430, I think, on P Bandai, like years ago, like in 2019 or something. You can't find it for sale anymore online. And the last time I checked it, somebody was selling it on eBay for like $2,000, and it has not had a reprint. Yeah, and other than that, it would be the Robot Spirits Big Zom.
Yeah.
So we all know that's like $500. So
I'm gonna
And I
tell you guys
didn't
this right now.
The trigger on that, so I don't think I really wanted it.
yeah,
It's hard
Yeah.
because I kind of want it, and then part of me is also like, but do I really? Do I
Yeah.
need that? Do I absolutely 100% need it as a collector, right? Like, and I think if I look at it from that perspective, I don't.
And
But
I
sure,
think it's
so I
really
wanted-
unique because there's no other way to really get one, kind of.
yeah.
They're
I
kind
kind
of,
of look at it.
they don't make many. It's not featured a lot.
That's true.
So,
That's true. I kind of look at it as like I want it, but I think I'll wait and see, and down the road, I will pick it up if it comes up.
right, like used ones or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use something used or whatever. Maybe like Ian had made a suggestion. Wait for it to go up on Amiyami, maybe.
Goose.
Oh, did
For
you
those
do it?
who don't know, Goose just showed us that he purchased his third-party tall geese.
Nice. There we go.
Congratulations.
We need pictures
Well,
as
clapping.
soon as it comes in.
Yes.
I
please.
will. Talking about kits that, how much money would you spend on it? There is one kit that we have all talked about that if it was ever made, we would all buy one. And that is the Ares.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
the Ares.
I thought we were
I
going to
think
say the
from
tequila
high
Gundam.
grade. From high grade, we'll toss Tequila Gundam in there because there ain't no money. I've dropped some big bucks on a Tequila Gundam, especially if I got it in a perfect grade.
Yeah,
Oddly
that would be nice.
enough, funny enough, a buddy of mine just bought a 3D printer, and
Ooh.
he was looking up robots one day to build something, and he's like, "Oh, dude, I found this really funny looking one." He goes, "I loved it. I want to show it to you." He's like, "I'm thinking about printing it, but it's like a 4-day print." It's the Tequila Gundam.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, I want that so bad. It's not
But the
funny.
3D printing is, I think, a good idea to get into.
Guys,
Yeah.
as much as I want to continue our discussion here, this has been an awesome discussion today. Like,
Yeah.
so glad that Adam joined us. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, any time really, because to be honest, it's nice to have one of these where I'm not setting anything up. Sorry, Ian.
Yeah.
I feel a little more free to just come up with stuff to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime. Like, you're welcome to come on anytime you want to. We'd be happy to have you as a rotating fifth chair or, whatever you want. So,
Yeah.
last question, then we're going to start talking about, like, where to find you and all of that, on the socials and whatnot. What's your next Robot Spirits or kit purchase that you're going to pick up?
That is a good one, and I think you'll appreciate this. It's the Shiranui.
The Akatsuki.
I want to get that. I'm thinking that might be my next, and because I don't think I have anything like incoming. I do have pre-ordered, for instance, like the Yakushiki and the GM
Oh,
to the AU, from Robot Spirits, or no?
Yeah.
Which is it's the AU version with the backpack.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those I have pre-ordered. I'm waiting for, but I don't think there's any other main thing. Other than those.
But good choices, good picks. I'm actually thinking, like, right now to sell my original Owashi Akatsuki so I can get the Seed Freedom
sure.
version. I'm curious to see if it's compatible with the Zeus silhouette. That's the big thing that I want to know.
I think it is, because I want to say I came across something about that.
I know the kit
Oh,
version is, but I don't know
that
about
might
the
be-
Robot Spirits version.
I think that I saw actually pictures of the robot spirits with the Zusilet, yeah.
We'll have to look into that a little bit more. Goose, you don't count because you just bought your kit. So, just kidding. What is there anything that's on your radar that you want to get kit wise, besides that Tall Geese third party that you just bought literally in real time?
Yeah, there's one other kit. It's the GPO2 Solomon.
Oh yeah.
Well, I've got such a massive backlog. I've probably got close to 10 grand in Gundam kits sitting in my garage right now.
Dang.
Yeah. Time to get through some of those kits, right?
I started adding up, and I was just like, oh my god, there's so many model kits. You just like, I go to the store. I got my oldest daughter into building models. She's not into Gundam, but she likes doing the Dragon Ball. They've got Demon Slayer and her new favorite one, which I know nobody can see, but I'm actually in my daughter's room right now because our office area is a mess. But I put a wood wall up for her because she wanted a ship feel in her room because she's real big into One Piece. She's been
One
building
Piece,
a bunch
you
of
go.
the ships. So we're actually, I don't know if I'm gonna put it on this wall or over by where her bed's gonna go. Big display across the wall, and she's gonna put her ships that she's been building up in there. And
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool.
Sorry to interrupt, but I have unfortunate news, Ian. It is not comparable.
Yeah, I'm
A friend of mine who has it just messaged them, and they said no. I literally wasted money on the Zeus silhouette because I just won the Akatsuki with it.
That's funny.
Oh, okay.
Well,
But it looks great with the Destiny, so
it does.
Oh, yeah.
It's fantastic. It's just too much
Yeah,
money.
that's what I'm gonna buy. My God.
There you go. Rogue, what is your kit next purchase?
Nothing at the moment because I've already bought a whole lot of stuff off of P Bandai.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just, I
Yep.
think the last thing I bought was a Leo-esque because I didn't get one yet, and something else. It could have been a a gym guard custom or something. I don't
Ooh.
know.
That's
I got a
cool.
lot of stuff
Be
this
honest.
month. This month, I think they're shipping out the Gundam ground type parachute packs. That's
Oh,
coming
nice.
out. So yeah,
Very nice.
I
Talos?
just want to put this out in the ether for anybody that listens to this, even if it's years down the road. Get in touch with Ian. Donate your Leo kits. Rogue
Yes.
needs 40 more Leo kits to complete his 100
But if you want me
Leo
to tell
kit
you
army.
something crazy. Well, so next month they're coming out. Cause May is the release date. I bought 18 Leos.
Oh
from
boy.
Bandai.
Cool.
So 10 of purple space Leos and 9 of the blue flight types.
My hat's off to you, sir.
Yeah, that
Hey,
is.
can we do like
And,
a goal? If we get like 100 likes on this video, we do a stream just of Rogue building Leo kits for an hour.
Why not?
Dude.
Why not?
I would put
December
money
one
on that
going
he
to
could
get that.
probably knock out 20 in an hour.
Right? Talos?
If
you're
I
up?
don't do any nub cleanup, yeah, maybe.
I'm gonna be a pretty good boy and I'm gonna wait up. I'm gonna save up for a bit because my next actual kit that I wanna grab is the Perfect Raid Unleashed new Gundam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's that.
that's a good one.
Ooh, yeah.
Good choice.
That-
I saw so many videos praising the Perfect Raid Unleashed Gundam, and if the new is to be released, and if it has even just a tenth of the the flexibility of the Verka, I'll be impressed because it's gonna be massive. First of all, it's gonna be. It's gonna be. I have my PS5 right in front of me. I bet it's gonna be as tall as it, and that's the scary thing. So if I were to do anything, I'm gonna save up whatever money I can for the next big kit release, which will be in December, as far as I'm aware. And that will be the Perfect Raid Unleashed new Gundam. The next big purchase. Now, if work graces me in any way, shape, or form, and luck is brought by my way, I might just grab a small high grade. Depends. But
Okay.
that's the actual target that I have, the Perfect Raid Unleashed.
Very nice, very nice. Good choice. Good choices, everybody. Love the ideas. All right, Mr. Adam, thank you again for joining us. We appreciate you. Where can people find you?
Yeah, search Gundam Explained on YouTube. I think that's the main thing. There's the website GundamExplained.com that, like, if you're a supporter, I can put your ad up there, and there's one for G3G on there too. So, and it's kind of like a network. We've got Midnight Hatter, Art Robo Gundam. It's like a network of all of us sharing our Gundam stuff. So,
I love it. Love
Well,
it.
we're here because of you, Adam. So
Yeah.
cool. That's
for
awesome.
me, for everybody
try.
here, thank you for getting us hooligans together to make this this new
right.
show.
Yes,
That's cool.
definitely appreciate it.
You are the granddaddy of this group now.
Granddaddy Gundam.
He's the granddaddy of the 4 horsemen of the Gunplocalypse.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. I
Ian's
love
the
it.
seed series. I'm the wing series.
Sir,
Rogues UC.
that's a whole other discussion. I will debate you on that later. But that being said, join the Gundam Explained Discord. Join G3G's Discord. We, Gundam Explained is very active over there. It's a great server, great community. We've worked really hard to help build that up as best as we can, and it's super active. Join G3G if you're listening to this. We're definitely trying to get more active, and
Shout out to our one new member.
yeah, our one person who found us. Thank you. We're hoping for 2 new members next time. Just kidding. If you find this and you want to join, please join. We would love to have your input. We're just trying to have a good time and do self-care. So that being said, check us out. Links in the description below for Gundam Explained, their Discord, and their links. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Take it easy.
All right, later.
Why is this not playing? Okay, stop recording.